Okay, now that you've created your one track with no effects on it, we can check a couple of things. The first is the recording level, which is over here. I can make it higher or lower. The next is your input source. I want you guys, when you're making a professional level of recording or when you're making a recording for class, I'd like you to be using the snowball microphones. So when you plug in the snowball, it should automatically pop up in this list here. As an extra one here, it will say blue snowball or just snowball microphone. If you're just going to use your built-in microphones, you can say stereo built-in microphone. The other thing you should be checking is these levels here. So if they're maxing out at the top, that's probably not a good thing. If they're staying way down here, it's not picking up a lot of my voice either. So I might bump that level up a little bit so that it's picking up more of my voice. And now it's staying in the middle range here. So that looks a little bit better for recording. Now I'm going to test it. So I can press this record button here. When I want to stop the recording, I'm going to press the space bar. I think that's the easiest way to stop it. So I'm going to start it. Test. This is a test to see how loud my voice is. And then I can rewind it and see how that sounds. I'm going to play it back now. Oh, I guess it would help if my speakers were on. Here we go. Test. This is a test to see how loud my voice is. Okay, so that's pretty clear. I like the sound of my voice. The thing I don't like is that scratchy sound in the background. And that is mostly because I'm using my built-in speakers or microphone. And it's picking up the background noise of my computer. So I might adjust the levels over here one more time and see what that sounds like. So let's try again. Let's see what this sounds like. How does this sound? So I'll go here and listen to this one. Let's see what this sounds like. How does this sound? See how that's a lot quieter, but you're still hearing the background noise of my computer. I don't like that one. So what I can either do, now that that one's selected, I can just press delete on my computer, or I can delete up under edit. Okay. Now I have this one track of my voice. I'm going to move that volume level up again. I'm going to make another one. Hi jazz class, I hope you enjoy making this podcast. Okay. So now I have two tracks here. I'm going to listen to them one more time. Test. This is a test to see how loud my voice is. Hi jazz class, I hope you enjoy making this podcast. Okay, there's a couple of things wrong with these. The first is, if you notice right here, in this space here, you can hear me press the space bar to stop this recording. I don't really like that that's there. It's kind of a defect in the recording. I don't want that extra noise there, that background noise. So I need to cut that. There's a couple ways I can do that. I can either drag this back, and now it's gone. Voices. And it just cuts off when it's done. Or, if I undo that, another way I can do it is to put the cursor there and go up to track, edit, and split the track, which is also Command T. So I'll use the Command T. And it has split this track into two parts. So I can select this small part and delete it. Okay, so now I've got this track without that extra sound. Okay, I can move it anywhere I need it to go. I've also got a lot of extra space here, so I can back that up so there's not a lot of extra space. Got this one with a lot of extra space. So now I've got two clips, you know, that are fairly good clips of voice with a lot of, you know, if you double click, they show them a little bit wider down here. It's got just my voice. You listen to this one.
Hi Jazz Class, I hope you enjoy making this podcast.
There's not a lot of extra sound before or after. So now if I move them to the beginning and right next to each other, play them back to back.
Test, this is a test to see how loud my voice is. Hi Jazz Class, I hope you enjoy making this podcast.
So you can see that I just edited both of those tracks. I took away all the extra noise, I took away all the extra space, and I put them right up next to each other so that there's no time in between. Alright, I think that's a good intro. One more thing. So if I take this arrow here, I can adjust the track volume. So this line here is the track volume. It shows you right now it's at 0.0 decibels, and that's just kind of in comparison. So I added two dots. There's one here at the beginning, there's one here at the end. If I take the one at the end and slide it down, that means it's going to get gradually quieter the whole way through. So let's listen to what that sounds like.
Test, this is a test to see how loud my voice is. Hi Jazz Class, I hope you enjoy making this podcast.
So what I essentially did was create a fade out from the very beginning to the very end of the podcast. I can move this dot anywhere I want it to be. So if I wanted to fade out for the first one and then fade back in for the second one, I could do that.
Test, this is a test to see how loud my voice is. Hi Jazz Class, I hope you enjoy making this podcast.
That's not, you know, it's not great to do with voice because it's kind of a weird effect, right? I could also move this one all the way to the beginning and fade in the whole time. Whoops, it helps if I rewind it first.
Test, this is a test to see how loud my voice is. Hi Jazz Class, I hope you enjoy making this podcast.
If I decide I don't want any of those fade ins or fade outs or anything like that, I can just delete these dots and they go away. And I'll delete this one, and now I should be at, whoops, if I move that one down to 0, I should be at basically regular volume again.
Test, this is a test to see how loud my voice is. Hi Jazz Class, I hope you enjoy making this podcast.
Okay, so I adjusted the track volume, I edited the tracks, and I think that's a good start. So good luck with your own voice recordings.